showing that she was working for the CIA. Ruth's father worked for the U.S. Agency for International Development, which is a very common cover for CIA agents around the world. And we know at least that he was recruited. These are the few documents we have about these people. We know that he was recruited for a CIA covert role in Vietnam in 1957. And supposedly he was not used for that, but if he was close enough to be considered, it means something. So, yeah, Ruth Paine's her sister's husband also worked for USAID, and of course, the Paines, they met the Oswalds through George de Mohrenschildt. They met him at this party, or George de Mohrenschildt brought them to this party. George de Mohrenschildt was a friend of Oswald who was an acknowledged CIA asset. We have documents showing that he was the CIA themselves, they say, he wasn't an agent, he was just an unpaid informant or something, unpaid asset, but he was obviously tied in with the CIA, and so there are CIA connections all over this story.
No, not to interrupt you, but we are getting short on time. But in your film, you actually confront her with some documents, and you hand them to her. And at one point, she reads it, she reviews it, and she hands it right back to you. And people who have studied read interrogation techniques, that's very revealing. But now, no one has ever confronted. She's never seen those documents before. Before you, Max Good shows up with these documents.
Yeah, that's hard to believe. Ruth Paine is also a student of the assassination. She knows this story back and front. She's very aware of all the details. So it's a little hard to believe she never saw that document before. Who knows? Maybe she just there's some legal reason she won't ever kind of acknowledge that her sister was CIA. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Why, obviously for a lot of people, the CIA is the main suspect, as, the entity that would have planned and executed the assassination, maybe in partnership with other elements and like bigger people in the military-industrial complex. But here you have the family that Oswald just happens to be staying with has CIA connections. It's a little hard to just dismiss that, just laugh that off like, oh, that's just a funny coincidence.
It is a small world, and coincidences do happen, but there reaches a tipping point. Now, sure. Max Good, as far as the film JFK, the Assassination and Mrs. Paine, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay, as far as this film, the Assassination of Mrs. Paine, what would you like to leave us with on this film, and what have you got planned next in a couple of minutes?
Well, I think everybody should watch this film and decide for yourself. I may have made the case a certain way in this interview, but Ruth Paine is also very persuasive, and it is a little hard to believe, that this sweet old woman could be lying to your face, or could be, in denial or naive of the facts. Who knows? But I see people go both ways, and people still wondering after studying this for years, still wondering exactly what her role might have been and what she's being honest or dishonest about. I got a lot of projects possibly in the pipeline. Not really ready to talk about them publicly. Who knows if it'll be another political or conspiracy-related thing or not. We'll see.
Top secret, like Mr. Trump's bathroom reading material. The film is called, once again, The Assassination and Mrs. Paine. You could find the Facebook group on Facebook. There's a Twitter hashtag, The Assassination Mrs. Paine. That's on Instagram hashtag, I'm sorry. And on Twitter, it's JFK Paine. And once again, the website for all this, where you could find it, and a very thorough website too as well, very well done as well, is jfkpaine.com. And Max Good, go to Patreon if you want to support the work of Max Good. A very good film here, the only one I've seen. I'm going to check out that graffiti one, the graffiti Vigilante. Check that one out as well. Mr. Good, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Great stuff. I really enjoyed the film, man. Thank you so much. Good night.
All right. Bye.